So how I got to Phoenix, Arizona is a story I tell my students about the house that fell from the sky. And what happened there was kind of bizarre, or not so bizarre. I love Montana, I love my acres, I love what I was doing, and I was getting ready to negotiate the actual purchase of the land. However, this grandmother had children, and that created a whole dynamic between her and her children because she wanted me to have the land because I had done all of the work. I was there 5 years and all that. And they saw photographs and all that. And they began to question her mental stability. And I was not going to enter into that kind of an argument. So I had to walk away from all of it. And that's pretty much how I ended up in Phoenix. Because I thought, well, let me try to find another place in Montana and open up a storytelling bed and breakfast where I could bring my friends, because I always wanted to have a bed and breakfast. 6 houses I put offers on, and 6 people took the houses off the market. And it got to the point where my realtor said, you can't go with me because people don't see what you see and then they don't want to sell their house. So of course, depressed, upset, I came to Phoenix to visit some friends here. And on New Year's Day, 2000, I said, okay, I'm going back and I'm going to find my own bed and breakfast house in Montana. Then I get a phone call from the realtor that says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, what do you mean you're so sorry? Oh, I'm so sorry, we made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry, because my earring fell. I'll leave it there. We made a mistake, and this is the place that you were thinking of putting an offer. This is not going to work, and we're so sorry. And I just broke down crying. And then my goddaughter, who was a realtor, sent me an email. I still have it. She said, well, I'm a realtor, and you're stubborn. And you know the ancestors have wanted you to leave Montana for a while, but you refuse. 6 houses is pretty much a good indication. I really think that you really belong in Phoenix. And I said to her, I called her. I was crying. I was upset. I was in New Mexico with a traditional elder. I didn't make it all the way to Montana when I got the call. I was crying. She said, turn that car around. We're going to find your house. And that's what I did. I turned the car around. And I knew it was correct, because the people that were negotiating and trying to get the loan situation, it was their mistake, and they told me, we're going to give you all your money back that I had on retainer. Nobody does that. They gave me all my money that I had on retainer for the down payment of the house. They gave it all back to me. And the woman said, I've seen you go through this. Go find your house in Phoenix, because you really don't belong in Montana anymore. And that's how I got here. However, one must trust one's dreams. I was staying at April's house, and I had a dream with my uncle, whose name is Renee, who had passed away. I woke up that morning, I said, oh my God, I had a dream with Baba Renee. And she said, well, maybe he's trying to tell you something. So we go up by Cave Creek near, oh my God, I just drew a blank right now. Not Prescott, by Cave Creek and Union Hills, that intersection right there. And Maricopa College is right there. So I don't see the address. I don't see anything. I'm upset. I'm trying to settle. It's a desert. If I have to have a house, I want a pool in it. There's no water here. I was just like being a brat, right? So we stop, we park the car, she opens the thing, she goes in. I look, the first thing, there's no pool in this house. I'm going to be in a place in a desert with no water. I don't want to deal with this. She says, stop it, Iya. That's the term that we use, so, the elder. Stop it, Iya. I said, okay. So she's doing the specs as any realtor does, right? So I said, I'm going to step outside and see if I can see myself coming into this huge house with all these stories and so modern. I wanted something, very different. So I'm standing in the middle of the street, no cars. I'm closing my eyes. Can I see myself in this house? Can I see myself in this house? When I open my eyes and I see a man walking up the middle of the street towards me. Now, I'm from New York, so I grab my purse and take a breather and act like I can't see him. And he gets about the distance, not too close. And he says, excuse me, I don't want to startle you. And I turn around and I look and I said, excuse me? He says, I don't want to startle you. Are you looking for a house? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. He said, well, you see the third house down from this house? Would you like to see my house? Because we're going to sell it. I said, what? He said, yeah. My wife and I were talking last night, and I want to go back to Utah. So I looked at him because I was so shocked, right? So I said, can I bring my realtor? She's in the house over here. And he says, yeah, I'll wait for you there. I'm watering my plants. So I knock on the door. April comes out and said, we're in the wrong house. She said, why? I said, because the man 3 houses down just offered me his house. She looked at me and she says, only you will have a stranger literally offer you their house that's not even on the damn market. I said, what can I say? We walk up. When I saw this house, I said, you have got to be kidding me. 2,400 square feet, 3-car garage, swimming pool, jacuzzi, fireplace, you name it. You name it. And I thought, I've never seen myself in a house like this. You know what I'm like? I just couldn't connect. So he opens the door. He says, look, you see these flowers? I put them in here. He took me through every closet he revised, carpets he put down, pool he did this for, that. You really think, look at the fireplace. I'm looking at this going, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. I was in shock. I really was in shock. I thought, is this a dream? Am I losing it here? He says, but one condition, I just called my wife and she wants to meet you. Can you come back? And I said, yeah, we can come back. So I get in the car with April and I tell her, I don't care what he wants. Give him what he wants. I thought it was going to be like, $300,000. We'll figure it out. I'll sell a couple of art pieces, whatever I need to do. But obviously, when I come back, it's like early evening. And so I come back, he opens the door and I see this tall, gorgeous, but very serious looking woman, right? And this is what she does. She walks up to me, she looks me up, she looks me down, she can have the house. I was shocked. So then, it's not on the market, right? It hasn't been nothing. He says, there's only one request. And I said, okay. He said, we would like to close in May. Do you mind, And I said, no problem. You could stay in the house. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And then, we don't have a realtor. April says, I got you. I'll be fair, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, you don't have to give me anything. I'm only going to have her, What I paid for that house, I regret selling it now. It was way less than what I would have been paying for what I was thinking about getting. And that's how I ended up here, the house that fell from the sky. I will share one piece with you, and I'm sure, because I believe he's still alive now. He told April something, and he said, you cannot tell her until we close. And so when we closed, and they left back to Utah, April said, now I have to sit you down a year. He's dying, and he wanted to go home and die in Utah. And he wanted to have somebody here that had a heart. And he knew, because he was watering the plants, and he felt a wind say, the lady on the road is the owner of the house. I was stunned, just stunned. And because I'm a traditional and I carry so many things, I would go in the backyard and I would do prayers. And I was happy to let you know, and I'm happy to let you know. At that time, his cancer went into remission, and I was really happy. Now, I don't know what happened afterwards, and all that, but every time I was in my home, I would always say prayers for him and say thank you for this house. And that's the story of how I got here.